We're going to talk today about the tactical integration. So we've talked in terms, but today we're going to talk about how it actually can take place, and some of the services I'm going to show you can be deployed almost immediately. So this is real life. How do we do this stuff? So a little bit of shameless self-promotion there. They put this slide in for me. I started this industry at CPM, if that means anything to anybody. But, yeah, so predates DOS and Windows and everything. And today, we're going to talk about voice, strangely enough. Now, I'm going to make you feel old. This quote here, if anybody recognizes this quote, this is 18 years ago when Steve Jobs launched the iPhone. And he said, the killer app, what is it? The killer app is making calls, it's talking to people. Voice is still the killer app. And with AI or any sort of intelligence, it's the bearer. Voice is the bearer of intelligence. So with artificial intelligence, this is going to be even more important. So, you know, we should think about how the voice infrastructure we run is going to be more important for people to use. And this chart here is from Ofcom, and they did a survey of, you know, what do people value most in customer interactions? So where your customers are talking to their customers, so if you're, your business customers, what's most valued? And voice is still up there, top right. They want to be spoken to in real time and have a conversation. Now, I think AI is an interesting one for that. I love it because it actually understands the question for once, you know, when you talk to it. It's really quite clever. So, yeah, we're looking forward to that, and I'm personally looking forward to that. I think it's really exciting. And you'll see an AI demo afterwards, not mine, but, you know, let's see what they talk about as well. So who are you? And this really, my presentation is for these kind of four groups, and I think it's probably everybody fits into one of these, so that's good. If not, then I'd be interested to know what you do. So UCaaS providers who actually run today their UCaaS platform, people providing SIP trunk and dial tone services, if you're into providing managed services, and also if you're a mobile operator. All of these people can benefit from integration, and we're going to show you how that fits together. But some of the key benefits that integration will bring are increasing your addressable market, because now you can sell services outside of what is your core business. Also, selling more stuff to your customers. One of my ex-bosses, one of his famous sayings was, your best customers are your customers, because you can sell them more stuff. So the opportunity is to sell more things to your existing customers. That's the easiest sell you can make, is to someone you're already selling to. And differentiation as well. Obviously, you want to sell something which is somewhat different to anybody else. And retention's a big buzzword today. We're saying, how do we stop churn? How do we stop our customers seeing the next shiny thing and wanting to go and buy it and lose us? Well, what you do is you actually sell them the shiny thing as well. You integrate the shiny thing with what you're doing. Therefore, you retain the customer, increase your ARPU, and increase your market. So those are the types of opportunities that integration can definitely bring. So looking at some of the big players, now this is not to discount the other guys as well, but what we're seeing is the kind of UCaaS market is polarizing towards Microsoft Teams and the rest. And I think we'll see that Microsoft Teams heading towards kind of a halfway market share of the UCaaS market, not necessarily general phone systems, but for UCaaS, I think Microsoft are becoming quite a significant player. It doesn't mean to say that the rest of the market's massive, so even half the market's big. So it's nothing too much to worry about, but certainly if we're looking at where some of the big numbers are, they sit really kind of adjacent to Microsoft or in there. And we're seeing the reasons people are going to some of these, you know, the market-leading players is because they're starting to include AI tools and some of these extra business value into their product across the top of just the voice platform. But customers, when they go to these platforms, if they want to include it in their business, they want kind of a low disruption, low risk option. How do I just tag it onto what I do? I don't want to rip and replace everything. Can I just get the benefit of this extra thing without having to change my core platform? Which is great for you because they don't want to take your platform out. They just want to get the other thing with it. So how do we integrate the two together? So that's what we're just going to step into now. We think of it as sort of synergy. So 2 and 2 is 5. You take your product plus someone else, and then actually you end up with something bigger than the sum of the two. So we're looking here at the integration wheel of fortune. So this is how we can integrate kind of 4 key elements here. So I'll focus on these 4 things that, you know, UCaaS vendors, not Teams. Microsoft Teams as well. The PSTN provider, so dial tone and numbers and minutes anywhere in the world, and then the mobile side as well. Within that, we've got the voice path, which when we do integrations, we have to make sure the voice path is solid, resilient, it's got good quality standards. We need to do API bridging for automation and orchestration for the whole kind of deployment delivery. It's got to be easy to do for you to sell it and therefore make it easy to buy for the customers. They've got to just be able to press a button and this kind of thing works. And then FMC is an ever-increasing topic, I think. Big announcement at the end of my presentation, but really that's about mobility, and I think as we see the increase of use of things like private 5G and things like that, that will drive us back into the native dialer of FMC. But really, this platform which we created is just really good at connecting stuff, and from that we can come up with an idea, make a new product service, and bring it together. So let's look at some kind of real-life scenarios of connecting things. So using those 4 topics, we'll talk around the different sort of integration opportunities. First one really is, if I'm a UCaaS provider and I want to sell Microsoft Teams without replacing my offer, how do I do that? So we need an integration from giving the end user a fully Teams experience, but using my backend. And customers probably still want to do this because the Teams phone system, I know someone said it's got 30 features. They still want features it doesn't have. It's growing and it's a fairly young platform. It doesn't have all the features that businesses use. So they don't want to change their business process that often sits around their phone system, but they do want to give their users that Teams experience. So with our Core to Teams platform, for example, that does exactly that. So you can now sell Teams integration alongside your existing platform. Everyone's happy. Everyone gets the best of both worlds. And we even got a license-free dialer with Go is probably the best in the world. It does do things like Copilot integration, which no one else can do. Then we look at something like just FMC. So as a UCaaS provider, I want to provide a SIM card as an endpoint to this so that I can now sell business mobile communications as a service. So we need an integration there to do this, and that's something Dstny does with its Converge platform, but it's also been extremely successful selling FMC in the Nordics, where 9 out of 10 business users in, say, Sweden use a mobile device for their business communications. So they don't use desk phone. They've never grown up with that. Direct routing. So if you're a PSTN provider and you want to provide services into Teams, or Zoom or WebEx, but certainly Teams, then Operator Connect is what Microsoft have set up. We've got a platform for that as well, or our platform supports that. And then there's a topic of bring your own carrier, which is kind of the Operator Connect, but for other platforms, so for WebEx and Zoom and others. And I think there's an opportunity for some of the other platforms to really have a sort of more public bring your own carrier program so that customers don't have to switch their numbers. They don't want disruption changing their provider if they're just going to change their call control platform. So having a kind of public bring your own platform, bring your own carrier platform is useful. Then what about Teams connecting to a SIM card as an endpoint, which you can do with Teams Phone Mobile, and it's a big, heavy integration. What if we've got a light touch integration where you don't need to go through that whole program, but we can simply, as a mobile operator, give you the ability to route Teams calls direct to SIM cards? So those types of integrations are interesting as well. So we're starting to build out, a picture here of things that everyone can do to increase what they're doing today, even by doing 2 or 3 things at once. So if you're a UCaaS provider and you're putting calls through to Teams, and then you want to take those Teams calls and put it through to a SIM card, then we've got an option for that. So we can connect those 2 together. And I guess the final one is how do we connect all 4 together, which is, a dial tone provider can give their services into a UCaaS provider. They can put it through to Teams and take it from Teams and put it through to a SIM card. All those integrations make quite a rich new offer, which they can't necessarily do today. So that's some of the benefits of integration, of just creating new offers, being imaginative, talking to customers and saying, what is it you want to achieve? And is it something I can do today, or do I need to integrate something else to be able to deliver that? Because if a customer says, I want to use Teams for my phone calls, their choice is, could they just go to Microsoft and buy a calling plan? In which case everyone loses. So we need to make sure that we've got a solution to make a counter offer against that, and the reasons why it's better, as well. So does it create growth? I mean, I can give you some numbers about, where our partners have been successful on this. And, there are some very chunky numbers here. We've got 2.3 million users on Dstny FMC. That's a big number of, it's probably one of the biggest communities of FMC ever. And it's grown just across a few countries. That's not a global number. So the opportunity is, could we replicate that model globally and get that into a really big number? And that's something we can do between us. We're connecting over 1 million of Teams users into UCaaS platforms today. So, and what we're finding is that the partners of ours which lead with the Teams conversation are the ones that win. So if they go into a customer and say, what do you want to do about Teams calling? That then creates a conversation the customer's quite interested in, and then they can sell them their UCaaS. If they go in and say, do you want to buy a UCaaS, then probably that's not a great starting point. And they say, no, I'm going to Teams, or whatever. But so I think, our most successful partners lead with a Teams conversation on that. And then for that sort of the whole PSTN bridging and the bring your own carrier model, our platform, we've got over 20 kind of fairly significant operators who are using that to put calls into Microsoft and Zoom and Cisco WebEx as well. So we can do all that. So a little bit about Dstny in a nutshell, if you don't know us. Fairly substantial European telco, so not US-based, if that's been a topic today, I guess. And we do run a global platform as well, so servicing customers in over 100 countries. So we've got that 24/7, follow the sun, properly staffed across 3 continents service operation as well. Okay, so just one last thing before I go, a quick announcement really, because I thought we had to get public about this, but Dstny and Tango have got a collaborative agreement now where we are taking their MVNO offer, effectively their mobile network coverage, and connecting it to our FMC platform that allows us now to deliver Converge voice services in their sort of 39/40 coming soon countries. And so that really is about just giving our UCaaS providers an offer. We currently sell our FMC product into our mobile operators as standalone. They bring their own SIM cards, of course, but if you're a UCaaS provider, you want a complete product. So that's why we've got that partnership. So I think that's the end of my little bit. I've got you a minute back. Is there any questions?
Questions from the floor? If not, I'd like to say a massive thank you to Mark for taking us through that. Thank you so much.